Hey guys, Joe Onit coming in. Going to do some more army compositions. Actually, these factions were asked to be covered, so I'm going to do an Icini attack and defense, Nervii attack and defense, and Swabi attack and defense. All right, we're going to start off here with Icini. And, I mean, everybody's going to be like, oh, you get just, bring a bunch of chariots. They're only 900 gold each, whatever. I mean, they're good, but if you don't know how to use chariots, it's kind of a waste of money. It's kind of a waste of money. So I'm going to start off first here with as far as the attacking, I'm going to bring a heroic noble general because they're really, really good. I mean, it's top tier melee infantry for them, so they are very, very good. We are also going to pick up the 7 units of chosen sword band, because they are pretty solid melee infantry. Obviously, it is the second highest melee infantry that they can bring. Unfortunately for Icini, though, as far as their range is concerned, they can only bring skirmishers or the Briton slingers. And now, for attack, I mean, slingers aren't obviously ideal because you can't really get shots into settlements for the most part. Really, they'll only become useful inside the settlement or if you can get them up onto the walls, obviously. But so, just because I'm going to bring the 4 units of Briton slingers, just because... we're also going to pick up... Oh, actually, hold on. I forgot my thing. Always take the giant ballista, guys. I said it in the other video. I'm going to say it in this one. Always take a giant ballista on attack. The other one's just, I mean, it's not cost effective to me. It's not cost effective to take the mobile ballista. I mean, that's almost 1,000 more, 800 more to bring them. And they can move. I mean, if you're going to be one of those people that shotguns or whatever, I guess. I mean, I don't know. But alright, so the giant ballista there. We're going to pick up some of the regular sword bands. So we're going to grab 5 units of the sword band. I'm actually going to grab an ambusher so we can guerrilla deploy our equipment. We'll be able to guerrilla deploy our towers, and if anybody brings tortoises or anything like that, we can guerrilla deploy them around to where they need to be used. And then, so we have 670 left, and I might actually grab one of the either painted ones, because this is like a shock infantry, like the naked swords are, or naked warriors for Arverni, Nervii. Can't remember off the top of my head who the other faction is that gets them. But yeah, the painted ones are pretty solid. Obviously, they do pretty good melee damage. Melee defense is pretty high, but again, you have to deal with that very, very, very low armor. They also do have Scare, though, which is definitely good as far as breaking morale or, just scaring a unit in total is never a bad idea. And they also do get that Frenzy. So that's going to bring us to 60 left. And that is pretty much an okay attacking army, I would say, for for Icini, I should say. The only other thing that maybe you could change is grab one of those Briton Scout Riders. They're not very... Actually, hold on a second. Oh, wait, did I have enough? Oh, I did. All right, grab a Veteran Rider. Veteran Rider's very good. Very good melee, mid-tier melee infantry, cavalry, I should say. They do have the Frenzy Charge, so they can do a lot of damage. And their melee attack's not bad. Melee weapon damage isn't bad. Armor's not terrible. I mean, they're pretty good all-around cavalry, I would say, for mid-tier melee cavalry. So there you go. That is pretty much a pretty solid attacking force, I would say, for Icini. We're going to get into the defending Icini army, and again, I'm going to take the heroic noble general just because they are that good. Briton slingers, again, we're going to take all 4 of them. Obviously, slingers are better on defense than they are on attack, as I mentioned just before with the attacking army for Icini. We're going to get down to the cavalry, and we're going to pick up 2 units of the veteran riders there. And we're going to pick up 5 units of the chosen swordsmen. We're going to pick up 4 units of the regular sword band, and then a druidic noble actually isn't all that bad. They do have chant, which is basically like a morale buff right there, and they do also have encourage. They're not the greatest. I mean, they can do a lot of damage. They are only 80 men in the unit, though, so they are not a full 160-man unit. But again, to have something up closer to your front line, I mean, they're not bad. Their armor's 45, melee attack, weapon damage, pretty solid. Melee defense, again, 72 is pretty solid. And to have something that isn't your general up on the front line that can give a morale buff and also have encourage, not terrible. Really not terrible. I don't know off the top of my head if they have javelins. I think that they don't have javelins. But still, not a bad unit to bring. That's going to leave me with 960 left over. And, I mean, there's a couple of different things I could do. I could pick up a chariot. not a bad idea. I mean, again, if you don't know how to use chariots, then I would obviously say don't take chariots, because they can get destroyed very, very easily. Good couple of javelin volleys from like the Rayo Spears or Royal Peltast, even Levy Freeman, can do a ton of damage to chariots. So I will put out a video, though, at some point soon on how to use elephants and how to use chariots, the most effective way of using elephants and chariots specifically, because they're not just like regular infantry where you just charge them in or you cycle them out and charge in another unit. They have a little bit different of a dynamic to them than regular infantry or other cavalry, stuff like that. So I'm going to forego getting the chariots, and I think we're just going to go back up. I mean, you could grab a unit of ambushers if you want. You could maybe take away one of those and grab. Oh, no, wrong one. Pick that back up. We could get rid of the chosen sword, one of the chosen sword bands. Pick up another unit of ambushers. I mean, again, ambushes is a little bit of a risk. It's only 2 units, so it's not terrible. And then again, you can pick up there. So there is your 5 units of sword band, 4 units of chosen sword band, the 1 druidic noble for the buff and the chant. And I mean, again, not a terrible infantry unit on the front line. 2 veteran riders, definitely a good idea. Cavalry is always a nice idea to bring on defense. At least 1, I would say, and preferably not your general, because charging your general obviously out into a situation that could possibly get killed, or possibly have your general get killed, is definitely not a good idea unless it's later on in the battle, and it kind of really doesn't matter if he dies or not. So I would say that's a pretty good defense there for Icini. I did give a couple of other options in there. And obviously, just want to make sure you guys always grab your wall artillery. Keep an eye in case somebody changes the map while you're maybe went to go get a drink or something, come back. If it's not Nimitasiya anymore, you obviously want to change. You want to make sure that your equipment is on, and that's for attack or defense. You want to make sure that you have your towers and your ballista on the wall, your towers for attack, your tortoises for attack, your ram if you decide to bring it, or if you're one of those people that bring ladders for some reason. I mean, I know ladders, you can climb up faster than towers, but they move the same speed. So it's kind of hit or miss on that. So that is going to be the end of the Icini attack and defense. We're going to grab into the Nervii, which is very, very, very similar to Icini. I could, if I wanted to, just go right in there and get that Oathsworn spam, pick up the 4 units of Gallic Hunters, and pretty much I could grab a Celtic Warrior to finish off the army. So there you go. Or you get rid of the Celtic Warrior, grab up a couple units of Levy Freeman. Again, make sure you have your equipment for attack. But I'm not really a huge fan of doing the elite force army kind of thing. I will obviously go with the Oathsworn. Now, Fierce Swords are just a little bit different than the Chosen Swordsman and Chosen Sword Band for Icini. Obviously, if I go back to the Chosen Swordsman real quick, or Chosen Sword Band, sorry, their melee attack is only 33. If we go here, their melee attack is 41. So it's quite considerable higher chance to hit on them. Their melee, I think their weapon damage is the same, actually. Yeah, it is the same weapon damage, but the difference, I think the Chosens have much higher armor. Yeah, it's a 30-point higher on the armor, 59 melee defense for them, 53 melee defense for the Fierce Swords. So, not a bad idea to pick up a couple of them. I mean that is kind of your main line infantry, basically. So we're going to grab the 7 units of those. I'm not going to pass up the option to getting those 4 units of Gallic Hunters. Obviously, I'm going to pick up the Giant Ballista as well. And then if you wanted to, you could really just fill out the rest of your army with the Celtic Warriors here, as long as we're under the 7 rule, which we are exactly at 7. Still 550 left over. Could do some buffs on some units if I wanted to. Maybe take some of these Celtic Warriors back out, pick up another Oathsworn, grab a Levy Freeman. Not a bad idea. Could just go down here if I wanted to. Maybe grab up a Mighty Horse. Still very similar to the Veteran Riders for Icini. They do have the Frenzy Charge. Very high melee attack. Pretty, not really great weapon damage, but they can do a lot of damage. 60 on the armor, 35 melee defense. So obviously this is a charge in, leave for a couple of seconds, charge back out, or pull back out, charge back in kind of unit. You don't want to leave them in there for very long. They do have not the greatest of melee defense. But yeah, I'd say that's a pretty solid. Actually, we still do have 920 left, so I could fill out the rest of my roster grabbing up those other 2 units of Celtic Warriors. So I got 6 of those, 7 units of Fierce Swords, the 4 Gallic Hunters, the Giant Ballista, the Oathsworn General, and a Mighty Horse. Obviously, again, make sure, I'm going to keep saying this, make sure you grab your equipment. If you got up to go get a drink or went to the bathroom or something like that, come back, check the map, make sure that it is the same map that you were attacking originally. And actually, it's never a bad idea just to make sure that your equipment is locked in there anyway. So, all right, getting into the melee of the Nervii defense. Again, I'm going to grab that Oathsworn. Obviously, I got to grab up those Gallic Hunters because they're just crazy. They are really, really good. I'm going to grab up 2 units of the Mighty Horse. Again, I mean, you could substitute in one of the units of Noble Horse if you want. That would kind of lower your amount of cavalry that you can bring. I would only recommend bringing 1 Noble Horse unless your allies have more infantry or more cavalry kind of thing. It's also a lot to deal with how your allies' armies are set up as well. Again, for the Nervii defense, we're going to pick up 5 units of the Fierce Swords there. We're going to pick up 5 units of the Celtic Warriors. Now, again, you could pick up a Guerrilla Swordsman that is very similar. Well, it's pretty much the same as the Ambusher. It is considerably cheaper, though, 90 gold cheaper for a unit of Guerrilla Swordsman. Actually, let's get over here. Pretty cheaper. 90 gold, like I said, cheaper than the Ambushers for Icini. And then they're not bad. 30, 40, 62, 45, not bad. They do have guerrilla deployment. They do also have stalk, just like the Gallic Hunters do. So they can move around pretty much anywhere. Obviously, if you get within a certain range, units will see them, and then that cover will be blown. Also, if I wanted to, I could pick up another unit of the Fierce Swords on defense, and then that's pretty much going to be all you're going to be able to get, because you can't get anything cheaper than 200. Or I could grab up 2 more units of the Celtic Warriors there. Again, that is going to be your max 7 Celtic Warriors. You got 5 Fierce Swords, the Noble Horse, 4 Gallic Hunters, and an Oathsworn General. Again, make sure you're grabbing the Strategist General, in my opinion, for factions that have Oathsworn, noble fighters, stuff like that have Headhunt, or even like a Royal Peltas that has used the whip, stuff like that. You want to make sure that you have the Strategist ability for that second wind, bring them right back up to fresh after their exhausted battle rhythm to add some extra damage on as well. So that is going to be the defending army for Nervii. Getting into Swabi now. Swabi's a different kind of faction. It's kind of tough, can be kind of tough to use. They don't have the greatest of armor on pretty much any of their units except for their Swordmasters as far as their melee goes. I mean, their Club Levy is 40, 20 on the Bloodsworn, 40 on the Roundshield Swordsman. Hexbearers have 40, 20 on the Wolf Warriors, 10 on the Berserkers, and obviously the Swordmasters there with an 80, but I'm going to start off grabbing the Swordmaster General. I'm going to swing down here, pick up that Giant Ballista. Bowmen, Cimbri Bowwomen are really good. They do have the Flaming Shot and Whistling Shot, but the difference, here's your Longbow Hunters. Longbow Hunters actually have Stalk, and they do have Snipe. So they can fire while hidden. They don't. The Cimbri Bowwomen do not. But the big difference, huge difference, is, well, it's kind of like the Cimbri Bowwomen has 150 range with 35 missile damage. The Longbow Hunters have 125 range, but with 40 missile damage. So they can do more damage, but they have a shorter range. So primarily, I would take the 4 units of Cimbri Bowwomen, just because I feel that they are superior, even though they have the 5 points less. They are superior as far as the range is concerned. So, getting into the actual army makeup itself, we're going to pick up 5 units of the Bloodsworn. Usually, I've seen people take like 6 or 7 of them because they are really good melee infantry. I mean, they're first tier melee infantry for them, but they can do a ton of damage. Their weapon damage, that armor piercing right there is 9. Very high melee very high armor piercing. Again, 9 there for the Club Levy. That's a 200 gold unit. Not strong, but everybody loves Club Levy. I'm just going to say it right now. Everybody loves Club Levy. That armor piercing of 9 and 220 gold less. I mean, it is pretty solid. It is pretty solid. We're going to take a look real fast because I'm not 100% on the... what is this? Is it going to be a 9 also? Oh, this is only a 4. So the Roundshield Swordsman armor is a little bit higher, actually considerably higher than the Bloodsworn, but that is a huge difference in melee, in the armor piercing. 4 and a 9 for a unit that's 30 gold cheaper. I mean, but again, you got to weigh your options there. I mean, the armor is big difference, 20 points difference in the armor. We're going to grab up some club levy just for units to be able to press up the equipment, obviously. Now, with them being cheaper factions as far as cost of units, you can splurge and get yourself a unit of Swordmasters. I mean, I have pretty much a pretty solid army right now, and I still have 3 slots open with almost 4,000 left over, 3,800 gold left over there. Hexbearers are good to a point. They can scare. They do have curse, so they also will drop morale of units around. And it's not just one unit. It is every unit in an area will get hit by that curse. I'm pretty sure it's every unit that's in that area will get that curse. Obviously, it will help break any wavering units or really close to wavering units. Not a bad idea to bring. Wolf Warriors are a bit of a gamble. Again, they don't have the greatest of armor, but their armor is on point with the Bloodsworn. But look at that melee attack. 42 weapon melee attack, 15 weapon damage, but they do get Frenzy again, a lot of damage. They can scare everybody around again, big time damage to morale to surrounding units. Not a bad idea. So maybe one unit of the Wolf Warriors there. You could actually grab another unit of Swordmasters. So that's 3 units of Swordmasters right there. Actually, I could grab a 4th. 4 units of Swordmasters, 4 units of the Kimberly Bowwomen, 4 Bloodsworn, 5 units of Bloodsworn, 5 units of the Club Levy, and a Wolf Warrior. Not a really bad army makeup there. Again, make sure you grab your equipment. And then we're going to take a look at the defending Swabi army. Obviously, again, I'm going to start off with that Swordmaster because they're just that disgusting. They're really good. Top tier infantry, best infantry they can bring. Actually, another one you could use, you could take a Wodenaz Spear. I have seen people take Wodenaz Spears before. They are roughly 400 gold cheaper than the Swordmasters. And they're not bad. Cavalry counter tactics. They have expert charge defense. They do also have Encourage. They get the Wedge if you want to use it. And that shield screen, again, will bring their melee defense up to almost 100. Again, I'm not entirely sure how much the shield screen gives number-wise to the melee defense, but it's got to be somewhere close to 100 if it's 69 giggity with in just basic form there. So you do have 2 options that you could take. Again, I wouldn't really recommend taking a cavalry general if you can bring infantry as a general. Speaking of cavalry, we're going to get down here. Now, Riders of the Hunt, pretty solid. 42, 27, 40, 40. So they're pretty good. They do also have the Frenzy Charge. Again, a lot of damage, charge speed, charge damage, acceleration. Very, very nice. And it's not something that you have to switch back out of. Like, if you switched into the wedge formation and you charged in with the wedge formation, I would recommend that you get back out of the wedge formation pretty much as soon as you get into the charge. Maybe count a second or 2 and get back out of that wedge formation so their melee defense comes back up. But yeah, they're not a terrible unit. Noble Riders obviously are really good, but they are 610 gold more than the 2 units of Riders of the Hunt. So, I mean, you could substitute again, but that is limiting you on having the amount of cavalry that you could have, which would be 2. I would prefer to have 2. We're going to grab that 4th unit of the Kimberly Bowwomen. Getting into the melee defense, as far as the infantry goes, we could grab another unit, a unit of Swordmasters. Never a bad idea to have one of those. Getting into the Bloodsworn again, we're going to pick up 5 units of the Bloodsworn. We're going to pick up 5 units of the Club Levy. And then that kind of frees me up. I got 2 more spots if I wanted to. Again, I could get 3 units of Swordmasters on defense. Not a bad thing. Could sub out one of those, get a Berserker. They can be really, really damage efficient. They have Frenzy, they have Headhunt, and they go out of control. That's the only problem with Berserkers, is that they go out of control, and you can't do anything with them until they come back under your control. And they can go out of control for a very, very, very long time. But they can do a ton of damage. 56 melee attacks, so 56% of the time, they are hitting their target. 25 weapon damage. If you hit that Headhunt, obviously it's going to be more melee attack for them, going to raise their chance of hitting even more. And then if you get that Frenzy, that is going to up their charge bonus and their weapon damage. So overall, really solid unit. That gives me 500 gold left over. Again, it is just an option. I mean, if you really wanted to, like I said, you could grab another Swordmaster there. You could drop one of the Swordmasters, grab some of these spears. Wodenaz Spears, like I said, for the general, not a bad spear infantry unit. Night Hunters have the guerrilla deployment as well. They do have frenzy charge. They do have cavalry counter tactics. So another viable infantry unit for Swabi to use. But I would say just sticking with the 3 units of Swordmasters. Again, that's a pretty solid defense for the Swabi faction. Like I said, the only thing I would change is maybe grab a Berserker, because they are really that good. And you got 500 gold to spread around and give some chevrons. But alright guys, there you go. Another 3 faction army for attack and defense video in the books. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this one. I will continue making more of these. If you want, drop some suggestions down in the comment section for this video, and I will do the best that I can as far as making armies is what I think would be good for attack defense. Again, do not forget to grab your equipment for all of your attacking and for your defending forces. Grab all of your towers, grab all of your towers, grab all of your towers. You should be able to get 9 across the board, so there's 9 towers for each faction right there. Defenders, make sure that you're grabbing... No. Grab the ballista. I'm a big fan of the ballista. Big fan of the ballista. Always make sure that you get a wall artillery. There is no deployables. As far as when I host battles, we do not allow deployables on defense. So, I mean, if you play in games where they're allowed to bring deployables, then bring whatever you want. You can bring 9. But, alright, that is going to be the end of the video here, guys. So, thank you very much. Hopefully you did enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, share the content around. And, of course, have a good rest of your day. Stay safe. And as always, until the next one. Hey guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity to send a special thanks to my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members. Thank you very much for your continued support. I really appreciate it.